story. Sooner Politics,
Yeah.
Marijuana Dispensary declares no meat store rule. Now, you guys laugh, but I got some serious comments about this.
Yeah, okay.
I will tell you, this is just 11/17/2019. 2 employees cited for violating, quote unquote, the holy place rule regarding bringing sack lunches to work with meat. Okay, you public school teachers can learn something here. So the owner of 2 medical marijuana dispensaries, Robert Cox, just demonstrated his lack of tolerance this past week by scolding and suspending an employee for bringing a sack lunch to work with a meat sandwich, which was stored in the back room refrigerator. It's not clear how the employer discovered the contents of the sealed lunch meat. But maybe he's got a good nose. But the employer quickly took the employee off the schedule and accused her of violating the holy space we've created at Friendly. Now, the place of this is called Friendly what?
The Friendly Market. There are 2 locations. They have one the original one is in Norman, and now they're up there by Lake Hefner, north side of Oklahoma City.
Now, just a couple more things to tie everybody in. There is a little bit of intrigue because Stephen Holman is the shop owner and
the manager.
He's the shop manager of the Norman store.
Yeah.
And all this happened in Oklahoma City.
Correct.
However, now Stephen Holman, the manager of Norman, he defends Robert Cox's right to ban employees from taking meat. Stephen Tyler Holman from the Norman store, he wrote an entire piece that clarifies that the whole meat-eating travesty happened at the OKC store, not at the Norman store, that many people commented to him about why he was so mean to fire somebody for eating meat, even though he didn't do it. And then he says about Friendly Market, feel free to eat all the meat you desire anywhere you want, but you will definitely be asked not to do so inside the Friendly Market store.
Yes. No. For those who might not know, remember, Friendly Market is the market that had all of their glass pipes stolen by the prosecutor in Norman, the DA in Norman, to before the medical marijuana law passed, because they were paraphernalia and therefore must be illegal. It couldn't be used for anything other than pot smoking, even though they weren't selling pot or doing anything. It was glass. It was just glassware.
You gotta get your bust in.
And I'm telling you, if it looked like Grandpa's pipe, it's legal. If it looks like a hippie pipe, it's illegal.
Exactly.
I don't know what an Indian peace pipe would be legal or illegal. Depends what they're going to smoke in that. I don't know. But this is just totally an it is a law based on the artistic creation.
This ain't your grandma's hookah bar.
Yeah. And this is a problem. Now, on that case, they took thousands of dollars of their pipes, wiped out their store,
and still have not given them back after everybody was acquitted.
That was clearly get the bust in before the law changed. That's easy.
I talked about Stephen Holman. He looks like the consummate hipster,
Oh,
you know,
he is a hipster.
and he actually is now a member of the Norman City Council.
Yes, he is.
You know, and
after he got arrested and went through the whole thing, he then ran for city council and won.
Yes, that's right. So this is why you do mayoral elections while the campus is still in semester. You don't do it in the summer when all the kids are gone.
That's true.
That's how you get the kids to like. Okay, now here's the other thing, and you read some of what Stephen Holman. That guy is a PR genius. He took a whole terrible situation that the financial, the owner, the guy who put up the money for it, Robert Cox, and it was a disaster because I am the admin for the largest Facebook group for medical marijuana patients. I have about 10,000 members in this group I started, and I'm really focusing on helping to develop medical standards, help people to help each other. You know, what's your condition? Here's what I'm taking that's working good. You know, you might need less, you might need more. That's the kind of self-help, because the medical community is not
Right.
going to give us that.
Right.
So I started talking about this. I said, wow, so now we've gotten medical marijuana passed on an argument of tolerance.
Right.
And we've got the most intolerant dispensary owner, and I think he's Buddhist. I don't know. I'm guessing. But they're vegan there, and they associate it with their holy place because, it's that.
Right.
And, I started telling people, I said, look, if you've got some beef jerky when you go checking out prices there, that'd be an interesting way to tell them, where you stand on this. And so, hey, this is kind of trouble I make,
What if it's free range beef jerky?
Yeah, I know.
The one thing is, and if it's true, everybody knew better when they signed on to work there. So, and as constitutionally speaking, as a business owner, he can set the standards and the requirements for anything he wants. As ridiculous as it sounds to us.
I got a question there, because I know people that work in the corporate world where the stories run something to the effect of, this guy watches porn 4 hours a day at work and we can't fire him. What we have to do is pink slip him, and then 90 days later pink slip him again, then he has the warning, and God forbid if they're in the cross-sectional protected class, well, she's handicapped, black, and a female, and it doesn't matter what she does. She ate a sandwich, so what?
Yeah.
Okay?
Right.
So what I want is, how the hell does this guy who owns a pot smoking place, and a dispensary, I shouldn't call it a pot smoking place.
No, we don't have those quite yet.
He owns a dispensary, but how does he have the power to fire someone just like that? The other thing that I noticed...
Well, he suspended them at
let's understand, he fired her so quickly, it shows him to be rather reactionary. Not only intolerant, but reactionary.
Well, and that was one of the things Stephen Holman said. Yeah, his initial reaction was wrong. And so his PR guy down in Norman is trying to clean this up, and he said, I can't even clean that. That's just wrong.
If his panties were all in a wad about a meat sandwich, and he would have worked it out with the girl ahead of time, none of this would ever
Okay.
hit
Well,
the papers.
again, if she signed on to it, then it was worked out. She broke the rules. Now, for him, obviously, this is a hill he's willing to die on.
Yeah.
At least it was for a moment.
The cannibals are thankful for
sounds
that.
like maybe he's backing off of that.
He is. He's really backing up because this was going to turn into a big-time boycott. And I was ready to start.
Well, I thought that was
Oh,
interesting.
they were.
In the story, the guy from Norman that Stephen Holman said, a lot of people were onto him in a negative way because they thought he was the one.
Right.
Which tells you the whole vegan lifestyle isn't all that popular.
If you look at all their advertising, the iconic figure is Stephen Holman's head. In 3D has that blue and that red kind of thing. Yeah, and that's so Holman's image is that store.
Right.
And so he's got to clean this up because this isn't going to just affect his business. This is going to affect his political opportunities
as well. Yeah,
right.
It's going to affect him.
So here's what I just said. Well, what if it's medicinal meat? What if somebody's,
Nice one.
I get it.
I like the way you think.
So Julia Zell, who's the former head legal counsel for the health department, remember when they put it?
Right.
She just said, "Okay, is it just me that's thinking dirty thoughts?" And I said, "Yes, Julie, it's just you." But anyway, so let's get our heads out of the gutter.
It could be rescue meat, emotional distress meat.
So, and there were lots of comments. Again, when you got a Facebook group of 10,000, you get a lot of comments. But here's my point on this, is there are people who have difficulties getting enough protein. I know kids, young adults, people, they need a high-protein diet. I've got grandkids who are allergic to both peanuts and eggs. And those are the only real alternative. Well, I guess there's dairy. You get a little bit of protein from that. But, so My thing is, if you got somebody whose doctor says, yes, you need this much protein, and this is how and iron, and other things like that. Eventually, you got an ADA claim, for employment termination.
The bigger issue, besides the medical thing, is he calls his place a holy space. It's not recognized religion. I'm sorry. No matter how many customers you have, literally not.
It doesn't matter what he calls it or what he thinks or anything. It doesn't matter. He owns the property. He can do with it what he wants.
Yes.
Now he also.
Can you own a holy space, David?
Yes.
You can.
Sure.
Well, there's
you.
The Temple Mount there that's being fought over between the Jews and the Palestinians right now. And they both claim it to be the most holy place on earth, right?
Third most holy in the
hill they're
Muslim
willing to die
religion.
on, I think.
Yeah.
After Mecca and Medina.
But the Jews consider it the place of the original
Oh,
temple.
it is the original temple.
Originally I was from Mecca. Eventually I had to face it.
Yeah. Okay. So, here's the other thing on this. They've got a little bit of problem here. What really made this blow up was not the female who violated the rule just by sticking a closed sandwich in a bag in the refrigerator that I guess the boss decided to snoop on. That's what I'm going to say.
Yeah, I think that's a problem. That's the Fourth Amendment.
Yeah,
right?
well, no, it's at work.
Unreasonable ham
So,
sandwich.
that would bother me. But another employee, it was a male employee, decided to blow up in front of the customers, and he is terminated now for his conduct in blowing up on it. But he's the one that made it the big issue.
Why did he get all upset?
I think it's just feeling like
was he pro meat or anti?
I think it's the dignity of an employee getting to choose what meals they eat.
He's upset for the employee.
Fine, if you want her to go sit in her car to eat it, she just needs a place to keep it from getting salmonella poisoning during lunch, And
between arrival and lunch.
And they don't pay crap there, so people can afford to go eat like you can, Mr. Robert Cox, the owner. No, believe me, dispensary staff are not making much money.
Okay.
Because they can find lots of people who want to work there. A lot more than what they need.
The benefits are great. The pay is horrible.
So anyway,
starve to death while you work.
Yeah, but
and especially when it's a pot store and everybody's got the munchies.
Yeah, but again, I want to commend City Councilor Stephen Holman from the Norman Friendly Market for talking sense into the owner, because the owner really screwed up, and Holman knew enough. Holman, you deserve a huge raise and probably a profit sharing at this point.
And a ham sandwich.
Well, here's the thing. I ran the numbers today. I looked at one of the most recent lists of dispensaries. Oklahoma County has 450 dispensary licenses issued in that one county.
Okay.
450. That's like 3 times as much as what I think would be sustainable. And and so this store was up at Lake Hefner on the side of Oklahoma City, where there's already a glut of them, and you want to hang on to market share. And he was going to lose it all. Oh, gotcha. He still may lose it all. This still is a real problem on it. But
sounds like he needs to back off, let Holman run it.
And it's a small, close society. A lot of these people who are using this stuff, they talk to each other and so forth. On
my Facebook group, all 10,000.
And so the word gets around very quickly that the friendly market is a little less friendly than they let on, and all their troubles and the goodwill that they had generated from all the problems that were foisted upon them quickly go out the window when they mistreat their employees and potentially customers.
It's a cannibalistic industry. The Stephen Holman guy kind of reminds me of the tall, skinny guy from the Warner Brothers cartoon where they were chasing each other around. The guy looked like a hot dog, and one looked like a
Yeah.
anyway.
And well, and I have to say, my friend and your friend Norma Sapp was an employee there early on, Bud Tender, and she still does some promotional things with
I didn't know
them.
that.
Yeah,
Okay.
and so yeah,